Welcome back, Tiger fans, to Rockin' Radio's football podcast. I'm Nate Edwards. That's Nathan Hurst. This is Before the Box Score. Oklahoma Hate Week. We're back at it. We're off of a bye. Missouri didn't play last week, so they are conceivably rested, and they are ready for one of their most hated Big 6, Big 8, Big 12 rivals. Nathan Hurst, how you doing?
It's been a weird week, but, hey, it'll lead us right into a nice rivalry weekend. It's kind of, the vibes are right. The vibes are right for getting mad at football teams. So let's do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad going around the country. We're recording on Wednesday, so it's the day after Election Day. And you know how Election days go, man. No matter who wins, there's always someone who's upset. We're not going to talk about it because we are a silly little football podcast, but just understand that, whatever side you are on, you probably have neighbors who are hurting. So be kind to each other, and let's just distract ourselves with some good old football, talking about your Tigers and the fun rivalry that we've had with Oklahoma. It's been mostly online for the past 13 years, and now it gets restarted with a vigor now that they're back in the SEC. But before we get to that, let's talk some back channel stuff. Let's talk about off the field stuff because we got to talk about decommitment season. Yeah, that's not a very exciting thing. I don't know why I was trying to get amped up about it, but it happened. Missouri lost a recruit. His name was Josh Lewis. He was a defensive end from Louisiana. It sounds like he is trying to stay closer to home because of a health situation that's inside the family, which sucks to hear for him. But it looks like he was kind of looking to back out, and the staff was okay with him leaving. And so he decommitted, and he is opening his recruitment back up to anybody who will keep him in the state. So, I mean, Hurst, you hate to see you lose a recruit, but in one of those situations where like, okay, I guess I get it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to lose, you hate to say it because you would never wish family health issues on the family. If you're going to lose a recruit, this would be, a more palatable way in that someone didn't come in and steal them away, or they lost faith in the program, or, what have you. This is just an unfortunate situation. So best wishes to his family. Hopefully he's able to find somewhere closer to home that he can, be happy and thrive for football reasons. It's going to, open up. There's now been two decommitments that both on the defensive side of the ball. So it'll be interesting to see if the staff is able to get any commitments on that side of the ball before the December signing date, or flip others into coming. Either way, I think, especially because of the defensive line, because there's not only two defensive linemen, I think, in this class. It's clear they're definitely going to have to go into the portal for the defensive line, which is probably going to be the case every year. But they had success last year in doing so, so they're going to have to do it again this year, and we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, I mean, it's any lineman who's in the portal, you're going to take a look at. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman. Those are some of the most important players that you can get, and if you can improve your situation via portal, you do it every single time. So, yeah, Mizzou's been very active. I'm just going through here. I mean, they've gotten a defensive lineman out of the portal pretty much every year that you could. So, and that's even, if you have a well-stocked cupboard. So, yeah, that's going to be fine. And obviously, if you follow any of the coaching staff on social media, you see them immediately start following other defensive linemen, making offers. So, they are going to work to replace him with high school, but also try and find somebody out of the portal too. So, yeah, good luck to Josh. Really, if you're thinking about decommitments and the ones that you are concerned about, at least recently, I know Matt Zollers has been talked about. He went to go watch Penn State lose close to Ohio State on Saturday. And, of course, we talked about this last show. We've talked about it before, maybe multiple times. Lamont Rogers out of Texas, potentially flipping to Texas A&M. That's the other one that you are concerned about. For his part, Zollers says he's locked in. He just wanted to use his visit to go see a good game, which I'm all about that. You're only recruited once, and if this is your chance to be treated like a prince around a really cool thing, knock yourself out. I am personally not worried about Zollers flipping, but anytime you see a recruit go to a different school or Missouri, we're going to flip out. I mean, is there anyone else we need to worry about?
He's going to be in Columbia this weekend, though. So, he followed that one up. They're coming right back to Columbia. He tweeted out, said, coming home Saturday. So, I think he's pretty locked in. Who wouldn't take a free trip to Happy Valley, see, 2 top 5 teams face off and get free tickets? I mean, that sounds awesome. I'd do it. And I don't even live in Pennsylvania. So, yeah. Sign me up.
You can sit here as a Missouri fan and go, okay, well, who are they going to pick off? Who are we going to lose? But this is the nature of recruiting highly rated kids. There's going to be a lot of schools that want them, and they're not going to give up very easily. This is part of the game. Not really worried about anybody else, and you would prefer that the guy makes an informed decision. Go on all your visits and make sure that you want to come here, so that we're not fighting people off years down the road. But so far, I mean, again, the 2 that we mentioned are still locked in, and we're getting closer to December every single day. That's how the calendar works. So we'll see. But it doesn't seem like anyone else is on flip watch, decommit watch, or anything like that. So where? God, I probably should look this up. Where does Missouri's class stand right now?
I think we dropped just because the number of commitments is lower now. I think we're down to the end of the low 20s. Last I looked, but that might have been just rivals. It might not have been the composite. Just because I think that drops us down to 15 commitments, and that's just a way fewer than a lot of other schools, and it gets weighted based on how many are commitments on top of the stars that those commitments have. So it's kind of a weird algorithm between the 2.
Yeah. No. Right now, 24/7 has Missouri at 17th.
Okay, so not as far in the composite rankings as maybe rivals, and I think we were lower in rivals to begin with, anyway.
Yeah. In the SEC, 17th is good for 9th in the conference. So, yeah, that's not too bad. And, with 15 commits, you got room for more, but also you want to keep that room open for potential portable additions. So we'll keep an eye on that. In other news, Laird Veach came out of his conclave, his athletic director conclave, and then spoke with the media. About standard AD talk about building towards the future, making sure your student athletes have all the right opportunities, blah. The thing I think everyone's kind of latching on to is the ticket prices are going to increase, right? Spending is going to increase in the athletic department, especially with the House decision looming, all that potential fallout coming through. Coaches are still very expensive to employ. If you're revenue sharing with the athletes, with NIL and having to already provide dollars to the players, it's a very expensive venture. And to his credit, Veach came out and talked about it openly and said, this is something we are looking at. This is something we are doing. They're trying to increase revenue by increasing ticket prices. I have thoughts on this, but Hurst, let's have you take first crack. What did you think of the comments here?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the world that we live in terms of the landscape of college athletics. What also stuck out to me before he even got to the fact that ticket prices will be raised, parking permit prices, TSF donations, all that stuff, those thresholds are going to be going up. The reason why, and this is the first time we've gotten any real confirmation or comments at all from Mizzou, is that Veach said that Mizzou plans and intends on meeting whatever threshold of revenue sharing is set at the highest levels. The term he used was at the highest levels. So I take that to mean whatever that level is, and when the settlement is all finalized, there'll be a certain level per year that colleges will be able to share revenue with their athletes. I think a number thrown around was around $20 million a year, and that's across all sports. And he said we're gonna meet that level or compete at that highest level. So that's $20 million per year that they're gonna have to come up with. Is it all gonna be met by increasing season ticket prices? No, but that could cut a chunk into that for sure. So that's why we're here in the first place. Is to compete in the SEC, where I guarantee you every other program, Vanderbilt, not sure yet, every other program is going to max out their revenue sharing because that's how you get the top players. And so if Mizzou is going to compete at the level that they currently are and have been the last couple of years, they're going to have to do that as well. So that's why we're here.
It's what Gary Pinkel talked about when the idea of going to the SEC was floated. He's like, you need to make sure that you are ready to do this. You need to make sure that you are ready to invest at the level what that means. And this is part of what he was talking about. The South has the curse, benefit, whatever you want to call it, of historically not having a ton of professional sport teams, leagues. And so when you have money to spend, when you have advertising to make, those small businesses, those large businesses, those individuals with money, they looked to the college, the university to spend that money. Whether it's building giant football palaces or buying players, whatever, that is what they did. They dumped their money into there. And so when college football coaches would go to these, boosters in Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana, say, hey, I need this. They go, okay, sure. How much? How much do you need for it? And they'd do it. And that's kind of the culture that Mizzou walked into. And it's not really the culture that Missouri's known for. I think it's gotten better with the NIL era. And now that it's legal to do it openly, but it's still tough. It's a tough ask. And Missouri has, a couple options as far as professional sports go. You have a hockey team, you have 2 baseball teams, you used to have 2 football teams. Whoops. But you have those options. And so it's a smaller state and just a smaller restriction on how much people are willing to spend. So NIL is competitive, but now we need to make sure that the university front is competitive too. And that's just the world we live in. It's what Gary talked about. And that's just the price of being in the SEC. That's what you have to do.
Yeah. And there's been plenty of investment from, the fans, the alumni into the program, into the athletic department since the move to the SEC. And those have shown out in facilities improvements, the practice facility, the south end zone, soon to be the north end zone. They've certainly shown out in the NIL space as well. But this is the one area that they haven't tapped into yet. And that is the every fan who perhaps doesn't have 6 figures to donate to it or more to donate to the program, but could potentially pay a couple $100 more a year for their season tickets. Veach said that the tickets prices hadn't been increased in more than 10 years. I don't know if I believe that because I've paid more. That's what he said, and maybe he's using some kind of weird accounting to get to that point. But even if the prices have increased, it's not a lot, and he showed a chart. Mizzou is still at the very bottom in terms of the SEC in terms of how much they charge per year for season tickets. So if we're going to compete in that level, it's put up or shut up at that point, especially for the every fan who hasn't or doesn't have the ability to donate very high level amounts of money. If you want to see the program succeed, we got to put our money where our mouth is in some capacity. Now, do I expect the ticket prices to double? Certainly not immediately. I don't think they would ever double, but they're gonna go up. They're gonna go up. So be prepared for that, especially if you're buying season tickets for football and basketball. If you're doing parking permits, he said that those used to be tied, where whatever your giving level for football permits meets you get to that same level for basketball. That's no longer going to be the case. You're going to have 2 separate accounts and donate 2 separate TSF donations to get your permits on both sides, which is apparently something that every other school has been doing for a really long time, and Mizzou is kind of lagged behind. So it's kind of welcome to the new era of college athletics. This is what it's going to be if we want to compete in the SEC.
Yeah. I've seen some people say that this is pricing out fans. Like I don't know what to tell people. Like you we are not entitled to see Missouri play live. If you can't afford it, then don't go. I don't think this is some sort of thing where we're trying to price people out. They're not trying to just, luxury box this thing so it's only corporate partners and no real fans in the stadium. It's to keep up with everybody else. And I know some of the answer is, well, look what we did. We won 11 games last year. We've won what used to be the SEC East twice, and we didn't have to spend anything there. And yeah, but like, do you want to keep playing Moneyball with the infrastructure side, or do you want to try and excel, try and exceed, and be something that's a little bit more, and just keep up with your peers? I mean, my God, if Vanderbilt is charging more for season tickets than Missouri, what are we even doing here? Vanderbilt's got money to blow. They're still charging more than we are. So it's mixed feelings on this. I mean, your other option is that if you'd still like to go to the game, you could start a sports blog, and 10 years from now, you can try and get credentialed by covering Mizzou and then go watch the game in the press box. Other than that, I mean, maybe you're not seeing 3 games, you're seeing 1. I don't know. People are going to find a way to go to the games, whatever the price is. And I know it's going to be an increase here, and who knows what money is even going to be like in the next couple of years, but it's the price of doing business in the modern SEC to keep all the players paid and satisfied at the level that everyone else is going to do it. Unless you like to root for a bottom feeder program, this is just the price of doing business. So that's where we're at. I know it sucks, but we're going to find a way. We're going to find a way to survive and still support the team. Let's talk about the team. Let's talk about the game this week. Let's talk about injuries first. My God, I don't know if you all saw the injury list. You gotta zoom way out to get to see everybody, because Oklahoma has a lot of dudes out and Mizzou does too. We'll get into this a little bit as I go through the preview, but of course Oklahoma's missing like all their wide receivers, at least their starters. A handful of offensive linemen, some defensive backs. They're all out. You got a couple of questionables, including 2 at running back and a couple at wide receiver. And then, of course, you get to Missouri, and Mookie Cooper, doubtful. Brayshawn Littlejohn, doubtful. Nate Noel, questionable. Brady Cook, questionable. Logan Reichert apparently is questionable as well. And then Caden Green is probable. I don't know what's going on with Mookie or Brayshawn or Logan. But the ones that you're standing out here are, of course, Nate Noel, Brady Cook, and then Caden Green.
Yeah.
Brady's going to play, right? That's going to happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, the one positive is 2 weeks ago when we looked at this report prior to the Alabama game, Brady was listed as doubtful, and he played that game. So it seems like he's been upgraded in the last 2 weeks to questionable now. Is that guarantee that he's going to play? No, but I think it makes it much more likely than if he was listed as doubtful. And because if there was a small chance he was going to play, I don't think that they would. I think they would have put doubtful because they already did that once and he still played. So they don't have any qualms with kind of over emphasizing his injury ahead of time, and they didn't do that. So it doesn't guarantee he's going to play, and he could always take a wrong step in practice and push him, send him back. But it looks like that's fairly positive news, I think, on his front. Same with Nate Noel, who was out 2 weeks ago, and he's now questionable. So that one's a little harder to tell what his pain tolerance is, what his condition is, but that would be very nice to get both of those guys back.
Well, the thing with Nate, 4 weeks ago, he tweaked his back on the flight over to UMass. And then it was like a foot, right? It's like a foot injury that happened against Auburn.
Yes. Yeah. He played some in Auburn, and then later in that game, I don't know what happened exactly, but he went out before the end of the game, I think third quarter-ish, with a foot injury.
So it's like, I don't know.
You need your feet. Famously, as a running back, you do need your feet.
You do. That's why they call it football. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the severity, and it's not of our business to know what their specific injuries are, but you kind of like to know, like, hey, is this something that you're going to bounce back from? Is this a situation where you are it's lingering and you're going to have to fight through it? Is it something that's serious enough that you're going to have to miss the season? Just so everyone is aware, we're all operating on the same information here. Nate Noel has played, he's appeared in 6 games this year. And he's already taken, freshman, sophomore, junior. He has not taken a red shirt yet, medical or just standard. So you'd have to get a waiver, though, for 6 games, which I don't know. You try and figure out how the NCAA is going to react to that. So, again, it's like I don't know if there's a situation where you shut him down or, or he's not even interested in that. He's going to just go and try it. But he's your home run hitter, man. I know Marcus Carroll broke off some big runs towards the end of the Alabama game, but like, if you want your stretch play to go for 20, you kind of need Nate Noel in the game. And if he's not there, that stinks. I still like Marcus Carroll, but you like to have everybody. So I don't even know what happened to Mookie. I've not seen any information on him.
There's been no word as to what his injury is at all, not even an upper body or lower body.
Yeah. I like seeing Josh Manning. I think he's great, but like, I don't know, poor Mookie Cooper only has 1 touchdown in his Mizzou career. Just kind of hoping we could get him another one, but we'll see. So yeah, injuries are they stink, but as far as the starters go, I think you should be able to expect to see them on Saturday. Seems like certainly the fans want to win this one. I think the team does too. In my preview, I put it as not only does the team want to have a get right game, but they want to show that they can play with the big boys. They beat an Auburn team that's better than their record, but is a bad record, and they got blown off the field by A&M and Alabama. So Oklahoma's not doing as well as Alabama or A&M, but they have that same pedigree. They have that blue blood team. They have an elite defense. Before we even dive into, how are you feeling about this game heading into it?
It entirely comes down to whether or not Brady Cook plays, and if he is healthy enough to play at it. It doesn't. He's not going to be 100%, but is he healthy enough? If he's as healthy as he was to start the Alabama game, I feel okay about this game. I do. If he's even more healthy than that, I feel even better about that. But it really relies comes entirely down to his health, because if he doesn't play or if he's severely limited, I don't feel good at all. Just because of the quality of Oklahoma's defense, I just don't see Drew Pine doing much of anything against them. And the Mizzou defense is good, and the Oklahoma defense is bad, and we'll get into the details here in a minute. But they're not. The Mizzou defense is not good enough, I think, to win 3-0 in this game. And so I have severe doubts about Drew Pine's ability to score a significant amount of points, and by significant I mean 17, because I think that's going to be the minimum number that will need to be scored to win. 17 to 21 ish. You have to get to feel good about your chances. I don't see Drew Pine doing that.
No. Well, I still maintain that Brady Cook has been injured all year. And most of that stems from the way that he runs, like you have pointed out, but also just his general inaccuracy when throwing the ball. I saw a stat from, should have wrote this one down too. I think it was SEC StatCat. Who was talking about overthrown balls, right? The passes that are just not even close to being able to be caught by the wide receiver. And Brady Cook is like near the top of the league of that. And Drew Pine is too, which, fun. Glad they're both on our team. But, if you think about the mechanics of throwing a ball, for quarterbacks, it's not just the arm strength. Like we talk about the arm strength, but, throwing a pass, it's your full body. It's planting your feet. It's, torquing your ass and like whipping your arm to get that velocity, to get that spin. So it's a full body thing. And if your foot is off, if your hips are off, obviously laboring would do some numbers to you too. Like if any of that is off, then your passing is off. And that's what we've seen from Brady Cook all year. And that's why I still maintain that he's been injured, because then he took the happy shot against Auburn and he could run and throw a lot better than what he could do for the past, 6 games before that. So yeah, it is dependent on how he does and what he can do and his range of choices when he plays on the field. So we talked about Missouri's offense. We're talking about Brady Cook. Let's break down Oklahoma's defense. It is unfortunately very good. It's a very good defense, which you would expect from a Brent Venables team. It is currently 21st in the country. There is really very few things that they do poorly. They see very few plays per game. They're currently 57 plays per game, which is first in the country. Only 11 drives per game. They're giving up about 26 yards per drive. If you get into scoring position, which doesn't happen a lot often, you're only kind of walking away, with like 3 points. Basically, it's tough. It's tough. So you're going up against the number 3 rush defense, Nathan Hurst, and you are Missouri with a banged up Brady Cook and a banged up Nate Noel and a seemingly healthy Marcus Carroll. And you see third best rushing defense in the country. You go, okay, what are my other options? And your other option is the 57th best passing defense in the country. And you go, okay, well, Oklahoma is really bad at giving up explosive plays. It's like their one weakness. They will always stop the run, and they're not very good at stopping the pass. But we can only run the ball. Only our explosive plays come on the ground, and we can't really pass the ball very well. So Hurst, offensive coordinator Nathan Hurst, do you go strength on strength and hope for a big play, or do you go week on week and hope something breaks?
Once again, depends on who's the quarterback. Because if it's Drew Pine, I think you still got to try to run the ball as much as you possibly can. Hopefully, even if you're getting stuffed, you don't have to run the ball well to run play action passes. But that's what you're going to have to do is run, play action pass and hope that you can catch them napping. Run, play action pass, hope you can catch them napping. If Brady Cook is playing, I think he's going to have a limited, running game himself. So maybe you do the opposite and open it up and try to, you're not going to throw a ton of the balls downfield, but try to keep that efficient passing game. Because that's the one thing that they have done through the air well this year is be efficient. It's not explosive, but they've had stretches where they've been able to hit those 7-8 yard passes over and over and over again. And then hope that maybe there's a missed tackle here. Luther breaks a tackle and goes for 25 yards, which he can certainly do. So it all comes back to who's gonna play quarterback as to what the game plan is. They've had 2 weeks to figure it out, to game plan, to put something together as far as who they think is going to be the quarterback. I don't think any amount of game playing is going to help Drew Pine if against this defense, certainly, because we saw him in a full game an almost full game against Auburn, and their defense is good, but it's not as good as Oklahoma's, and it just was not happening. It was not going to happen. So we'll see. Brady, please be ready to play. Please be able to play.
Yeah. We're going to have to get creative. This defensive line is a nightmare. And I haven't even talked about Danny Stutzman yet, who is just prototypical college inside linebacker who makes every tackle, every play, every single one. He's not like a super havoc-y guy. He's got 9 havoc plays on the year, but he fits the run. He's got 12 run stops in the year, 8.5 tackles for loss. And he leads the team oh my good God. He leads the team in tackles. He has 72. Let's play a fun over-under. Hurst, do you think the next closest tackler on Oklahoma has, let's say, over-under 25? Do you think he's within 25?
Over 25.
Yeah. Danny Stutzman has 72. Kip Lewis has 43.
Yeah. Please. Yeah.
God. It's basically the Stutzman show as far as making a play. And then I mentioned the defensive line. 2 guys got to watch out for. You got a dude named R. Mason Thomas. Very Southern. You're throwing an R in front of your name, R. Mason Thomas. He has 6 sacks on the year from his edge spots. He is going to be the pass rusher that you're the most concerned about because he gets pressures about 15, 16% of the time. And he generates pressures pretty frequently too. So that's the big scary one. The one that doesn't get looked at as much and really is going to be the problem for Missouri's offensive line is their interior guy. His name is Grayson Halton, defensive tackle, 4 sacks on the year, straight up the middle. mentally, just play back in your head. Where does Brady Cook get sacked? He gets sacked right up the middle. Every time someone's blitzed and like rushed him, it's because someone on the inside rotated wrong or picked up the wrong guy and let a free rusher go straight at Brady. So if you got an interior guy who already has 4 sacks and like that's his thing, that concerns me the most. That concerns me the most.
Yeah, I mean, their defensive line is stout. They're not the most havocy, though, a defensive line that they've played or will play. No. I mean, Texas A&M, South Carolina, who they actually will play next week, I think is a better defensive line. But they're just super stout. I mean, they just aren't going to get pushed off their spot and then let Danny Stutzman run around and clean up any messes that get made. The guy I'm honestly more worried about than anyone is Billy Bowman Jr., the safety. He can ruin your day really fast because he's just a ball hawk. I mean, the guy's gonna, and he has 2 interceptions this year, but he had like 6 last year, so it's lower than, I think he had 4 pick sixes last year, something insane number, 3 or 4 pick sixes last year. So if you're not watching out for where he is on the field, he is going to sneak up on you. And he'll be in the end zone real fast if you don't account for him. And we saw 2 weeks ago that Drew Pine doesn't like to see where the safeties are. So he's the guy that probably scares me the most. Danny Stutzman's just going to shut it down. I don't know if he's going to necessarily, blow up any too many plays, but he's going to keep a 5-yard gain from being a 7-yard gain, keep a 3-yard gain from being a 5-yard gain. That's kind of what his role is on the team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a pain. And like the secondary is fine. I mean, the safeties are better at like run stuffing. Robert Spears Jennings, Billy Bowman, like you talked about. They've only got 5. They have 5 interceptions on the year. Wow. That's low. Not that Mizzou's rolling in interceptions, but the secondary is not super disruptive as far as playing the pass. It's just they have a killer defensive line that can, if they hit home, say goodbye to your pass play. And of course the run defense is stout too. So it's line dependent. And I think that's going to be the theme of this back trimester here. Really good defensive lines, just right across the board, which sucks. So yeah, it's going to be tough. You're either running into a brick wall and hoping a big play happens, or you do the thing you're not good at and try to pass to win and open stuff up. I will say it again. Please get weird, get creative. We saw the flea flicker a couple of weeks ago, but like line up Luther in the Wildcat, do more of that handoff stuff, get him on jet sweeps, get him moving so that you can generate touches for him, because just throwing it to him seems to not be working super well. So we got to figure out some other stuff there. So yeah, that's the Missouri's offense versus Oklahoma's defense. Then you flip it. And again, Oklahoma's missing like every wide receiver that they have. They have juggled 2 quarterbacks so far. They fired their offensive coordinator. They're missing some offensive linemen to injury, and the ones that even when they were healthy, they weren't super great. It's just growing up with Bob Stoops, Oklahoma, and Sam Bradford, Landry Jones, and then you get through kind of after that with the Baker Mayfield era, Lincoln Riley. It's so weird to me to see an Oklahoma offense struggle, but this is where we're at. Have you watched Oklahoma play this year so far?
Unfortunately, I've watched a lot of them play a lot. And it's pretty uninspiring on the offensive side of the ball for them. Now, to be fair, you mentioned it, but they're coming in. It was kind of between Oklahoma and Mizzou as to who might have the best wide receiving core in the SEC. But Oklahoma has had outrageous injuries in their receiving core. Deion Burks is a transfer from Purdue. He was supposed to be a great guy. Nick Anderson had an amazing freshman year for them last year. He's been out just about the whole year. Burks has been in and out. Back to the injury report, Burks is now listed as questionable for this week. So he could very well play. He's a slot guy, speedy, shifty. He's not the biggest guy, but he's hard to stay in front of. Jalil Farouk is the other guy who they were really excited about coming into the year, and he broke his foot in their first game. And he's now back up. He's been out since then. He's listed as questionable today he was listed questionable today as well. So there's a chance they could get both of those guys back, which would help. Now, the biggest issue for Oklahoma is that their offensive line is just wet paper, and if Jackson Arnold has no time to throw, it's really not going to matter who he's going to throw it to. Do you want to know? Guess how many sacks that their offensive line has given up this year?
I know like the sack rate's like 14%, so I'm going to guess 10.
How many sacks has Oklahoma's offensive line has given up? They have given up 38 sacks this year. Mizzou has given up 17. Yes, Mizzou has given up 17 sacks, which is pretty average, I think.
Wow.
38 sacks. Jackson Arnold has been sacked 27 times. And Michael Hawkins Jr., the freshman who started a couple games for him, 11 times. So It's bad. And so if the Mizzou defense cannot get pressure on this against this team, then it's not going to happen. And that we saw a little bit of pressure even against Alabama. Johnny Walker Jr. finally had his kind of breakout, had a couple sacks. So that's what it's going to come down to for Mizzou in stopping this offense, which is stoppable, imminently stoppable, is getting pressure on Jackson Arnold, because he's shown he's not great against pressure. He's a redshirt freshman. He's not super experienced. So if they can get pressure on him, it doesn't really matter who they're throwing to.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, just for comparison's sake, Jackson Arnold's success rate, I'm just looking it up here. When he throws the ball, if Jackson Arnold is throwing the ball, he has a 37% success rate. 37. Just as a reference point, Drew Pine is 35. So imagine a Drew Pine success rate.
Sample size, but yeah.
It's just, boy.
It's poor. I mean, his average, Arnold's average per completion is 6.2 yards. So he doesn't have time to throw the ball downfield, so they can't throw deep passes because he just doesn't have time to get off. Now, he can run pretty well. He's not a burner by any means, but if you leave an open lane for him, he can scramble. He's not going to take it 40 yards, but he could pick up a first down on you and extend a drive if you allowed him to. That's not a super concern. I don't think. It's just a matter of getting him off his spot. His accuracy is going to go down, and as he's shown 27 other times, he's willing to be sacked as well.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, he from a success rate standpoint, he's their best rusher. He has a 50% success rate when he runs the ball. The problem is that he's running the ball so much is because he's running away from a guy who's trying to chase him and tackle him. So he is forced to move a lot, and he turns those into scrambles, which is what you want your guy to do. I don't think that's what he wants to do. Just for a reference point, if you strip out the sacks, he has 64 rushes for 361 yards. That's
pretty good.
5.7, 5.6, something like that. And then you have Javonte Barnes, who is like their starting running back, who has carried it twice as much as Jackson Arnold, but for only 577 yards and 5 touchdowns. So again, even like the designed runs aren't really working all that well. He's got a 40% success rate when he runs the ball. But, we talk about all the things that a running back does. The big one would be yards before contact and yards after contact. I mean, this is absurd. Javonte Barnes is averaging not even a full yard before contact, 0.88. Jackson Arnold is not even averaging 0.38. Michael Hawkins, that poor freshman quarterback, he's averaging negative yardage before getting hit. It's so bad. Of course, then Barnes gets 2 yards after he gets hit, and Arnold gets about 1. So like the run game isn't there. Throwing the ball is not finding success or joy or anything like that. They are struggling. Now, if you want to find something that gives, to give them credit and how this offense is not just a complete dumpster fire here. Turnovers have been very lucky for them. If you take all of their fumbles and all the number of passes that get broken up, and you just took it to the average, right? Like, well, here's how many turnovers we expect you to have based off of how you play. Oklahoma should be -3, -4 in turnover margin. Instead, they're +2. So they're very, very lucky. The passes that get to defense don't get picked off. The fumbles that they do have, they usually land on them. To your point, Jackson Arnold has only thrown 3 interceptions, but he's thrown like 9 interceptable, that's a word, balls. So the secondary can get a couple hands on those, and you keep sacking them all night and add another 38 to the tally. Like, it can be done, but also please do it because Mizzou's offense isn't going to be able to do anything.
Right. Yeah. The defense is going to, beyond keeping them off the scoreboard as much as possible, they're going to have to help out the offense with setting up a couple short fields. Now, whether that's, a couple big sacks, which really, skew the field position game, whether that's a fumble on the plus side of the field, a timely interception and return, whatever that may be, they're going to have to help the offense out regardless of who the quarterback is going to be, just because the Oklahoma defense is that good on the other side. So if Mizzou's going to get to that 20, let's call it 20.5 points that I'm going to put out, if they can get to that, they'll win the game. The defense is going to have to give them a couple extra shots across the 50.
Yeah. Yep. And as far as starting field position, Oklahoma's offense is averaging their own 31, which is 32nd in the country. And their defense is averaging the opponent's 28, which is 56. So, yeah, field position is going to count. Luke Bauer, buddy, got to earn that Brolsworth trophy that you've been nominated for. Got to punt to win. You got to give this offense a couple chances, some short fields on defense, ability to capitalize. And, hey, get a pick 6 defense. Love to see that. Return something for a touchdown. Like, don't trust your offense to do anything here. Just do it all by yourself. The old 2015 Missouri recipe: defense, go win. Yeah. So that's where we're at. I know you kind of mentioned the 20.5. What's your score prediction here? What are we doing?
Well, because I've talked about the whole time how it entirely depends on who the quarterback is. I'm going to make 2 different picks based on who's the quarterback. If Brady Cook is the quarterback, I think Mizzou wins probably 24-14, 24-13. 24-13. Mizzou's going to win. If Drew Pine is the quarterback, I think Oklahoma's going to win. And I think it's going to be something along the lines of 17. No, we'll say 20-10, 20-13, something like that. So it's a pretty large swing. I mean, that's a 15-point swing just based on Brady Cook. And I think the Oklahoma scores more just because they're going to get better field position. Because Mizzou's just not going to be able to move the ball enough to keep putting them back on their own side of the field. So, we'll see.
Drew Pine plays, Mizzou loses. I'm not even going to entertain the score there. If Brady Cook plays, I'm going to say 24-20. That's what I'll say. I mean, that's 8 scoring opportunities and like 3.5 points per trip. Like that's very on brand. When we previewed Alabama, I said, Mizzou, you cannot settle for field goals. You cannot do that. You have to finish with 7. Here you can finish with 3. Like, just get the points.
Yeah.
Get the points.
Yeah, points are at a premium for both teams. So expect Oklahoma to settle for points too, if they get, depending on the score, of course, but points are going to be at a premium for both teams. So you take what you can get. Now, if it's 4th and half a yard from the 25 or something, I mean, let's see. But it also depends on how they're going to run the ball at that point. So I guess there's a lot to be dependent. But if they've gotten some sort of decent run game going, I'd still be a proponent of pressing it a little bit if you feel confident in doing that at the time. But Eli's rarely confident in doing that at the time. Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out before we close the book on Oklahoma, before the game starts anyway, the leading receiver for Oklahoma. We remembered some guys last week. The leading receiver for Oklahoma this year, because we talked about all of their receiver injuries.
Is it that tight end?
It is not actually. It is one J.J. Hester.
Hey,
former Missouri Tiger J.J. Hester. I think he was a Barry Odom recruit but I think he got here in 2020, right as Drinkwitz was starting. Played 1 year, limited playing time, transferred out, went down a level. He was a 4-star coming out of high school. So he had a lot of, I think he's from Oklahoma. He is from Oklahoma. 4-star out of high school, transferred down. I couldn't tell you what he did in the between years, but ended up at Oklahoma. So Oklahoma is his third school. And he's leading their leading receiver. He's got 13 catches for 265 yards. He had a 90-yard catch last week against Maine for his only touchdown of his Oklahoma career. But good for JJ. Hopefully he doesn't do that this week.
Yeah, I liked him. I was really hoping he was going to pan out. Just didn't happen. So good for him. But yeah, I mean, on the other side, God, you got Luther Burden. You have Caden Green. You have Williams Winery. You have Theo Weiss. You have, who am I forgetting? Is this 4 guys?
That have direct Oklahoma recruiting.
Yeah, they have the Oklahoma stank on them from something, and they came to Mizzou after, Again, motivation, man. Like, you want to win this one. Everybody wants to win games, but like this one in particular, before the season even started, we had this one like, oh yeah, Oklahoma's coming back for the first time since that magical 2010 game. Welcome them to the SEC. We're stealing all their recruits. Like, come on, man, you gotta show up and win. And I know people are showing some frustration that Eli doesn't seem particularly motivated about Oklahoma. You know what the secret is? You tell him that there's a piece of merchandise that he can win. And to get that peace pipe and say, yeah, you can bring it back and you win a trophy, drink, and he'll perk right up. He likes stuff.
My guess is he was purposefully downplaying in his press conference what this game meant to the team, meant to him personally. I mean, who knows what it means to him personally? I don't really care. I might care more about what it means to the players because they're the ones that are actually going to be out there on the field. I think he was purposefully downplaying it, hoping trying to keep whatever bulletin board material off of the bulletin boards as much as possible. We know that he's he can motivate his team to come out and play, especially if it's a home game. He can get those guys ready to go. So I'm not worried about him getting the team ready to play. So that's the least of the worries. I think this is showmanship at this point.
He's learning not to put his foot in his mouth. You'll love to see it. But that's going to be the show for today. As always, we appreciate the downloads and the subscriptions. You can leave a comment or rate us. We love all types of feedback from you all. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Nate G. Edwards. He's at Burst to Hurst. And of course, you can follow the Rock M flagship at Rock M Nation and our podcasting outlet at Rock M Radio. We appreciate you tuning in this time. We'll try to do better next time. And until then, MIZ.
ZOU.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Rock M Radio, a proud partner of Fans First Sports Network. Rock M Radio is the official podcast network of Rock M Plus, a new and exciting subscription service provided by me and the other voices of Rock M Radio. Please take a few moments to head over to rockm.plus and sign up for an account today. The cost is only $5 a month, and the benefits include access to our live podcast, a subscriber-only message board, weekly newsletters, and more. If you enjoyed this episode of Rock M Radio and would like to see more just like it beamed directly into your personal device, make sure to click the subscribe button below and tell your friends. Our podcast feed is available through the Apple Podcast app for iPhone, Google Podcast app for Android, whatever app you listen to your podcast. You can also find Rock M Radio on Spotify. If you're looking for a podcast about your favorite team that is not the Missouri Tigers, Fan First Sports Network is your answer. A full podcast network loaded with the team-specific podcasts covering Major League Baseball, the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLS, and more. And we'll be back with more episodes of Rock M Radio coming to you soon.